Hey YouTube, yeah, so don't get COVID. I'm now tested clear and I'm fine, but just knackered. So this is the guitar I was playing earlier on in the week. It's a very, very metal guitar, which is, I shouldn't really have said in the video because the guy's not picked it up yet, and he's like, oh, liking that, can you set it up so the trem floats? So gonna do that. He's like, can you put it in drop C tuning? Drop C sharp, drop C. So I'm going to try and put it into drop C and see if it works. So this video might not be very long. It might be, no, you can't put a guitar, it's a Strat scale, you can't put drop C on with tens on it. If it was nines, I don't think I would even try, but tens, you know, there should be enough. I'm hoping. I mean, I played the Sabbath stuff in C sharp, which is all the strings down further on a bass, and it's kind of alright. Strings are a bit floppy. Yeah, so I'll play some. I'll show you what it sounds like first. No, I won't bother with clean, I'll just go straight for the fuzz pedal. So currently it's sounding like this. So it's just currently the bridge is just set. It's flat against the body, you know, so it's like it just returns. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and tune it down to drop C and see if it can take it before I start messing about with the bridge. It might not be. I think it'll probably take C sharp okay, or take C, drop C okay with a bridge fixed. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to float it if that does work. So tuning to drop C. Right, so E string down to C. It's quite low. Right, so that would be an A. So we want to put that down to a G. This might not work. It might not be tense enough. It would normally if you're doing drop C or something as low as that, you would put on your 11s or 12s, but we'll give it a go and see what happens. D would go down to C. So basically I'm just knocking the whole guitar down 2 frets, basically. G would go down to B, C, D, E, F. B would go down to A. And E would go down to D. So what basically drop C is it's you tune the whole guitar down a whole step or 2 frets, and then you do like a drop D on top of that where you knock the low string down. So I would imagine this is probably going to move down to C, G, C, F, A, D. So I'm going to give these a bit of a bend seeing as I've moved them, and then tune it again, and then listen to it and see if it works. These strings haven't been fully stretched in anyway. Right, let's turn it on and see what it sounds like. Half. Turn down a bit, it's a bit loud. like that then. Yep, so that worked. That seems to be working fine. It can take it. I'm just turning these things off just so they don't buzz. So, first things first, get my protector down. I'm going to take the back off and get into the trims at the back. I've done that first, but if you're kicking about, I've got a gig on Saturday night playing in the bungalow. Put all these screws, you should put them in a separate tub, but my carpet's stripy, so I can put them in a light shaded bit, put them all together and it should be alright. Yeah, I'm playing Black Sabbath After the End, playing in Paisley on Saturday night. I should be alright. As I said, I don't think I'm contagious anymore. It's more just the tiredness. I mean, I was in the studio the other night, sounding great. It wasn't until I felt kind of alright in the place. I felt alright when I got home. It was really more the following morning. I woke up just absolutely shattered. Maybe that's a lot of that's to do with just being in bed for all week. So in the back here, that spring there doesn't look original, does it? Because it's gold. The other two are green. So what I'm going chrome. So what I'm going to do here is set this floating. So the way to do that, well, the way I'm going to try and do it is stick something in below it. This piece of metal should probably do. This is one of these. Is that going to be a good enough angle? Maybe want something a little bit thinner than that. I'm trying to get the bridge to sit absolutely level. What have I got that's just a little bit? What? Plan this before I start hitting record? No, I'm not going to do that. I think I might just do it with that. Just assume that that's going to be fine. Ideally, I'd want something that's a little bit less than that, but I can fine tune it later. Right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tune it. I've now got it. I will have to set the action and stuff again after this. So it's currently sitting. That has raised the action up a little bit, which to be honest might help with the slack strings. I'm going to tune this again to C sharp because now the bridge is forcefully sitting up the way, so this will all be flat. Very flat. Then we've got C, G, E, D, C. And that would be E, D, G, this would be F. G would go up to, it's meant to be A. Then D. Takes me a while to get used to hearing the strings. Yep, I don't know the action's actually too bad. It was quite low before. Where are we sitting at just now then? Where's my millimeters? I've lost my steel rule. That's still actually within. I might get away with it. I haven't adjusted it. I had the action probably set slightly too low before. But that was because the strings were so taut they could take it. Right, so now we're sitting there. So if I'm actually going to tune it using the claws in the back. So if I take this out, now it's sitting straight back on the body. But when I hit the A string, it's at A. So I want that A to be G. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a screwdriver, which I haven't looked out in advance. Obviously, why would I do that? That's a bit of time I can't actually. My super system for fitting it, that's the one we want. So, doing it in the playing position. If you do it on its back, things are pulling on it, so you want to be sitting in the playing position. I could have a camera on, sitting at A. And basically what I'm going to do is these two screws here, I'm going to tune them off. And basically I'm going to undo them equally between each other. And then tune, so when that A becomes G, the whole guitar should be in tune and it should be floating again. Because as I undo this, the bridge will raise up to where I want it to be. Right, so if I just undo this, This might take quite a lot because this was this. It's not like this. If this was floating when it was in normal tuning, I wouldn't have to turn it anything like amount of this. But it was tightened right up so it didn't move. It's not even started releasing yet. And I'm taking these screws out like a loony. The worst thing that can happen with these things is you completely undo it and the screw comes out. So it's nothing can really break here. This is not even this is not. There might be too many. It's got 3 springs in it. Maybe 3 springs is too much. Oh, I heard it go down. We're now starting to go down a little bit. Now we're at G sharp. This is kind of how you do a Floyd Rose as well. Not as extreme. I should probably have set it floating before I detuned it, but hey. Getting there. And you kind of want to... Right now, what was an A minute ago was sitting at a G, and now you'll see that the bridge is now sitting parallel with the body. So there should be some up bend in it. So that could just be it. I might just have successfully done it. There we go. So now we've got, and because it's floating, it'll return. It's a knife edge. It's like, this isn't like your strap one, which is the 6 screws in it. This has just got the 2, which is better because there's less friction. But also it gives me, if I bend the G up, I can get up to A. So it basically gives me a whole fret up bend. I could really do with something. This is it's a bit wibbly. Maybe put something on. It's like annoying with these with the trems. Ideally, it's gone sort of stiff and got a bit hard to touch. When it gets to there, here, it's still floppy. But there's a wee bit of play in it because it's not fully tightened up, which is really annoying. So you really. I don't want to turn it all the way around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a wee bit of tape, wee bit of insulating tape around that to hold it steadier than that. But it's now holding the drop tuning, so if I put the amp back on again, I might do the second half of this video standing up. Ideally, it's getting a wee bit further in. I don't want to snap the thread. If you tighten up too much to snap the thread, let's stick a wee bit of tape on it. See if that can make it fit in just a little bit better. I think this might just be the video. I maybe flip a wee bit on the end. I'll do the standing up. And is there really any point? It's the same. I'll maybe turn that mic round, face the amp, and I'll just play sitting down rather than doing my usual talking to the camera up there. This is my secondary camera, so we're only on 720p instead of 1080. Not that I think it really matters. One of my pals always tell me, oh, you should go into 4K and stuff. To be honest, I don't have a 4K telly, and the picture's good enough for what I'm doing. It's not like, maybe if it was a bit more beautiful or something, it would maybe make a bit right. So I want this to, it goes in that way, so I want it to tighten, so I want it to go that way, right. I should really be using black tape rather than yellow tape, but I'm using yellow tape. This is just to make it a little bit stiffer, and this, you may have to do this a few times. So every time you take the trem arm out, it chews it up a little bit. But it's like this generally doesn't happen with expensive tremolos. When I say expensive, I mean if you're spending £100 on a bridge, but I mean this guitar doesn't have a £100 bridge in it. It's just the tolerances aren't quite as good on the cheaper stuff. And basically all I'm doing is just filling up that thread with that yellow tape, which I will cut the end bit, whatever's left off in the end. There, so now it's stiff. There's a bit of tape there. If I get my wee Stanley knife blade just sitting there, and I'll just give it a wee bit of a trim so it's not sticking out quite the same amount. I'm not sure, this isn't a very technical thing. According to Scott, the best way of doing this is to use a plastic drink straw. But I don't think you get plastic drink straws anymore. Scott's like, oh, I've got one. And I was like, up your can I have it? And he's like, no. Because he doesn't know where he's going to get another one. You know, it's just a wee bit on the sleeve just to hold it. So it's maybe not particularly the most... And yes, I am using a Stanley blade but I've done lots of stuff. I'm just used to it. I wouldn't recommend using a Stanley blade without a knife. Holding it. But it's really, this is just for... As I said, you can probably take this arm out and put it back in a couple of times, but by that point the bit of insulating tape will have... This is just pound shop insulating tape. Keep buying it every time. It's only like £1. You get about 6 rolls of it, and it's like you just got to keep it working. See, now it's actually, you might even be able to trill it. Before I do anything else, well, I'll put the back on it first, but I'm going to check the intonation, make sure it's alright. I think I've got away without having to adjust the action again, because I kind of had the action set pure turbo speed metal low. I've got a tendency to, I'm sure you all have yourselves, when it's, how low do you want the action? How low can you get it? That was kind of what I was doing, because it's pretty easy just to raise, you know, if the action's too low for you, it's pretty easy just to raise it. This is more of a test. The problem is once you start getting down to a really low action, that's when you start going, oh, these frets aren't even, and you start noticing other things that have to be pretty accurate for you to get a really low action, even more so than just the setup, because the setup would be like, you know, setting the truss rod exactly perfectly, getting the saddles at the perfect height and stuff like that. That's part of it. I did that with this. But there's a point to how low you can get it. Some guitars, especially ones that aren't very good, there's only so much you can do really before you're talking about having to level all the frets and do some serious work on it just to make the thing work. I'm going to check the intonation just to make sure it's all right. It shouldn't really. It's only one fret out. It's not going to make much difference. Maybe if you're, you know, Steve Vai or something and you're recording properly, you would notice that. So there's a G, so you play the G there, and then there. That's pretty good. That's good. I'm happy with that. You should be using a strobe tuner, but I mean, the way I'm looking at it, I'm that used to doing it. I can tend to tell by listening to it. Same note. Actually, I got one of the other times I was messing. I never ever play in drop tunings. Apart from when I'm pretty much always Ian's guitar. He wants these crazy down tunings. Someone actually commented in one of my videos when I was doing one saying, "Oh, what was that riff? That's the best riff I've ever heard." And it's like, listen back to it. It's basically you be just making it up. I have no idea how you play. But it just means that instead of playing a power chord like that, you can do it with one finger, which makes it easier to play. It does free up your other fingers, so you might be able to do other stuff, but it didn't really do anything for me. And I can't really, and I never play sitting down. That's why I'm always terrible. So this is an excuse for being terrible every time round at Scott's house, playing the guitar, because I never play sitting down. And the tension's not too bad. It's lighter than it would be if it was 9s that I put on it. I'm kind of more used to 9s these days, so this is kind of like the same again. It's a little bit bendy, but not overly so. I'd imagine it's probably about the same tension as if you put 8s on, really. So it's good for bends. How's the truss rod reacted? Fine. I don't normally play with using a jumper either. That's me muting the strings with my jumper. So because I'm just basically playing this in open C, so I'm basically playing, all these riffs are in C. So if I was playing in drop D, which is basically just a whole step up from this, when you're playing solos, play in D. So this one I'm playing in where the D position would be if this was normal tuning, but instead I'm, so here, that there, and here. And the only thing I've really got to worry about is when I'm doing a solo and I'm using the low string, so that note's different, so in a normal scale it'll be. Currently we're sitting there with C, C, 5th. And all your open chords when you're in a funny tuning stay the same as well. Well, the same in relation to each other if it was just drop D. I did have another point I was going to say before I hung up there, about tuning down. I can't remember what it was. Might make it better for singing. How do I play sub to the universe? What would it normally be? Normally.
Supersonic years, electrifying enemy is drowning in his tears. All I have to give you is a love that never dies. A symptom of the universe written in your eyes. Step inside my fears. Swim the magic ocean I've been drying all these years. Yeah! Yeah!
It's right on the limit. Actually, to be fair, I do have a sore throat and stuff, but so I could probably sing Sympathy in the Verse, tune down a whole step. Yeah, so here you go. The cort is now set to drop C. Interesting. T-Gun, the guy who owner of this guitar, does a lot of home recording, and he buys a lot of pedals. And he's got a lot of guitars, but I should really have pointed the. Can you still hear? So here's the mic, more in its normal position. I suppose I'll play it just for 2 seconds to show you what it actually sounds like. Which might sound exactly the same, I don't know. Not quite getting the full 2 notes on that note. It does on that string. So it does make, in some way it does make the guitar easier to play. So one of the reasons probably when I never really started doing the down tuning thing was I knew people when I started to play who had to play in drop tuning because they weren't really able to play a normal power chord. And if you've got this, you suddenly, as long as you're only hitting the top 2 strings, you don't need to know. All you do is just hold the 2 strings down in the same fret. What's it? There used to be a Reef song a pal Martin Ireland used to play all the time. I remember I had it was a rarity. It was like a modern, late 90s now song that I liked. I've got the picture disc, I've got this single that's got like a circular saw blade on it. I can't remember what the riff goes like, but it was a good riff. It was in drop D, so this is drop C, so it'll be down a note, but I can't remember what it goes like. But I suppose if you're talking about learning to play at a party or something, you can pretty much play all the Black Sabbath songs just using the top 2 strings, assuming where it is. So if you're talking that's a C, that's a D there. There's an E, so in correct pitch it would be like.
My woman, cause she couldn't help me.
Oh, you good?
Can you help me? Watch you for my dream. Oh yeah.
And pretty much all Sabbath songs is like. So that's in the correct key though, because that's sounded just high enough for me to not be able to do it. Cool, so was that any use at all? I don't know. I've got some proper guitar work to do. That I can do that, handle it when I'm not feeling particularly well, but The other ones I've got to get the Dremel out and do some, work like that, and it's like standing up and walking about, it just knackers me out. I'm going to be fine for this gig on Saturday though, so if anyone can turn up, that would be awesome. Assuming it's on, it will be. If it's not, I will make an announcement. I'm assuming I'm over COVID, and I'm really hoping I've not given it to the other guys. Testing negative, but still, and I've been to the shop and I bought these Jakeman's throat things, the black ones. They're awesome. My God, can you smell them though? Like, if you're in Glasgow, right, and I'm eating these, you'll smell them. It doesn't matter whereabouts in Glasgow. You can smell somebody 100 yards away eating these things. I've got the yellow ones, which I've not tried before. In fact, I've got another packet of black ones as well. And because my taste buds have gone, I've treated myself to some pepperami fire sticks. Well, I've already eaten one, that's why it's just epperami. I really like these as well. So, rock on. I have no idea what. I hope I feel better tomorrow and I can actually do a proper video of something rather than these sort of not feeling well, I'll just do anything. I have managed to talk for half an hour though, so you can hear my voice is just a little bit. It's deeper. I've got a bit more of a gravelly thing. Could maybe sing some Leonard Cohen. With many, many fishes, and they went down to the water, and I saw that you would be there, where everything is slaughter, and the world is... But I can't go any lower than that. Rock on!